Hey guys, I'm here to give you some instructions here for this next big assignment that you have. Some would call it a project, but it's just an assignment that's going to take you a little bit longer. So you're going to be tasked with, and this is for the virtual student options only. If you're going to be here in the classroom, um, you're going to get directions from me. The assignment's a little bit different if you're going to be here, but if you are a virtual student, this is the file that you're going to want to have access to. Okay, so 100% virtual students, and then I'll also have another one here for the hybrid students. Okay, so it'll be a little bit different, but that's okay. All right, and the hybrid students will already have heard this by the time this is posted anyway. Okay, so to the directions here. So if you've ever seen the TV show Shark Tank, those people on there, they try to go and pitch their product so they can get investors. You're going to approach this assignment much the same way. Okay. Now you've got two options as a complete stay-at-home student. I'll kind of explain why you have two options as we go through it. Okay. So your first option is to create a business model, which if you scroll down, you can see everything you need to create. Okay, within the assignment, okay? Different things that you need to include. All right, we'll kind of go over that here shortly. So, the first option is to create basically like a business of your own. You can create basically whatever you want. The trick is, or the, kind of the guidelines are, is that they've got to have technological capability to be able to do those things. So, like, you can't invent a time machine, you can't invent a car engine that runs on water, you can't invent tires that never go dull or bald. And so, anyway, I'm giving you ideas of things kids thought they could do in the past. You can't do those things. Okay, now, the tricky part about option one is you've got to get that approved by me. Okay, and so and depending on how well you communicate, and some of you have done really well, some of you guys could do a little bit better. Some of you don't need to communicate with me. You've got all your work done. But depending on how well you've communicated with me, getting in touch and coming with an idea could be maybe a little bit challenging. Now, if this is how you want to approach things, by all means, you can. And again, it doesn't have to be some new invention. It could also be, a restaurant that has specific um, characteristics that are different than what other companies do. Okay. Now, the only restriction on that is when you compete against other existing companies, you cannot use price. Okay, so if you're a fast food restaurant, you're going to have the same priced stuff as existing fast food restaurants. And sometimes, again, another kind of thing about choosing option one and you not being in the classroom would be that we can't discuss some of those things unless you really work on communicating with me and make it important to have that dialogue. Okay, probably faster than the last minute too. So it's going to take some time over the course of the next couple of weeks for you to do that. Okay, your second option, since again I'm giving you halfway the benefit of the doubt, making you not have to communicate constantly with me, depending on your availability and mine. Okay, is you can use an existing business. So I give the example of Dick's Sporting Goods up here. So, like, let's say that I want to, create Dick's Sporting Goods like back in time. Okay, so I'm going to analyze how they do things now. All right. So, what do we produce at Dick's Sporting Goods? Well, they do a little bit of everything in terms of sporting goods. They've got shoes, they've got golf clubs, they've got kayaks. They do a little bit of everything. Okay. Obviously, their catchy name is already in there. Okay. But what I want you to say is what makes their name catchy. Okay. So kind of explain why that should be there, and what are they trying to do? Why are people wanting to go to Dick's Sporting Goods in this case? All right. I'm not going to read each one, word for word. You can read through it on your own. I give you some examples in there. Okay, but you're going to have to really think about how these businesses behave. Okay. So anyway, identify the competition. You don't have to mention the pricing. Okay. Again, if you talk about Dick's Sporting Goods, they're actually more expensive anyway. So what makes people want to shop there? The one thing that you have to do that some people forget is you've got to create a commercial. So you're going to have to come up with your own commercial for the business that you represent. So whether or not you do, you're going to come up with something that you think that, for example, Dick's Sporting Goods could do that's different than what they already do that would increase people wanting to buy their stuff. Okay. Once you get your idea and know what you want to do, all right, the best way to do it is probably in a Google slide format. Okay, and this particular person, they came up with an idea, they explain it. Basically, obviously, this is part one. Okay, it's saying what the product does. You could maybe even summarize a little bit clearer. This person said that they came up with a product that was going to keep track of people's hard hits and for fantasy football. Kind of goes along with the time of the year. And they answer all those questions as they go through these slides. Eventually, they created an advertisement. Again, they didn't do anything super special. I would appreciate if you would, you're going to be better off. They did not get full credit for this advertisement because they were not in it themselves. Okay, but they create this video and it's showing hard hits and it's adding up like fantasy points. Okay, I wish they would have had somebody talking in there. All right, because again, it would be, I mean, it would be a little more interesting to explain it. Okay, so again, the video goes on for a minute. I'm not going to show you all of it, okay? But it shows hard hits and how many points the fantasy player would get if you're familiar with how fantasy football works. So those are the requirements. Obviously, it may take some communication between you and I to be able to, uh, know what you are going to do. But as long as you're willing to communicate and you get started with this before the last minute, you've got 2 weeks. This is going to be due basically like the week of finals. Okay. The Friday before finals, we're going to make this due. So you're going to have plenty of time to do it. All right. You've just got to put your head down and make sure you get some stuff done. All righty. So contact me with questions. Don't hesitate to do so. And make sure you're getting on top of all the other stuff. It's a big boost of points for some of you that really, really need it. Some of you guys that have missed some things, it's a big 30-point assignment that can really help you by just following directions.